What's up, my Beta Bros? Maine-iac here, Wednesday, February 6th, NBA game picks and spreads. Stay tuned tomorrow for a little bit of coverage from the trade deadline. I'm not going to necessarily... I might actually live stream it a little bit just to see what happens and maybe do a GM mode where I try to make some trades work. Who knows? Anyway, there's going to be some trade talk tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. We got the Nuggets going to Brooklyn, take on the Nets. Nuggets are favored by 4 here. I think the Nuggets win. I think they cover. I want them to be buyers at the trade deadline, but I do not know who they would give up. Their team is pretty solid. If it was me, I know this is probably sacrilegious if you're Denver, I would trade Paul Millsap and Jamal Murray and a couple of first-round picks for Anthony Davis if I had to, because Jokic and Davis together, I think would be insane. But I do love the Nuggets the way they are. And then you got the Pelicans at the Bulls. Bulls favored by 1.5 here. Anthony Davis is sitting until the trade deadline, so it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of that. No Mirotic, no Payton, no Moore, no Julius Randle, no Anthony Davis. I actually think the Bulls win this one. Now, the matchup predictor has New Orleans at a 68% chance to win, so technically I think the Bulls would be an upset. But they're at home, so I actually think they can manage to pull this off. They're going to have to overcome Drew Holiday and Okafor, who have been solid lately, so it'll be interesting. And then you get the Wizards at the Bucks, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Milwaukee's favored by 12 here. The reason why I have this game up here is because the Bucks did trade Thon Maker away for Stanley Johnson, I believe, with the Pistons, which should actually help their depth a little bit more, just because Thon Maker wasn't really being used. Plus, when you're playing behind Giannis at his position, or his most used position, it doesn't bode well. Stanley Johnson, he can play a good 2-3, he can play a 4, he can also play a 2 at times. So, I think it's a good trade. Milwaukee's favored by 12, I think they win, I think they cover. Hornets, Mavericks by 5.5, I think they win and cover as well. Should be a very close game. 5.5 points is kind of on the large side, but I feel comfortable with that. Kemba Walker, if he goes off tonight, he shoots over 50%. The Hornets are probably going to win this, but I'm riding with Doncic, who I believe is going to go off for 25, 7 and 7. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, mainly because if the Mavericks win this one, they go back up to 25 and 28. I want them to finish over 500 with their recent trade acquisitions, but it's going to be hard when Porzingis isn't expected to play this year, and they did give up people like Dennis Smith and DeAndre Jordan. Then you get the Suns at the Jazz. Jazz favored by 15.5. Jazz, I believe, got curb stomped in their last game. I am not quite sure. Apparently, some guy named Tony Bradley is not playing in this one, and I didn't even know they had a Tony Bradley, so I apologize for that. Suns are 0-5 in their last 5 games. But, oh god, that's awful. The Jazz got stomped pretty badly, 27 points to the Rockets. But they're 3-2 in the last 5, including 2 wins over Minnesota. I think the Jazz can win this one. Should be a solid game. I'm looking for favors to increase his trade stock, possibly if they end up dealing him for AD, because you never know. The Jazz are in talks with everybody. I don't know if they're actually in talks with everybody, but they should be. This Jazz team is I think they're borderline capable of competing with the Warriors, mainly because Gobert is so good on defense. So is Mitchell. Well, Mitchell's not really good on defense. He's more offensive. But then you have whoever you keep from a trade with Ingles, Favors, Rubio. They're all capable. So if you could improve at least one of those positions, that makes you a contender in my book. And then you have the Rockets at the Kings. Rockets favored by 3 here. I think the Rockets win and cover. I really want to pick the Kings here, but I don't think Buddy Hield is going to be able to contain James Harden enough defensively to keep up with him. It should be interesting to see who they do put defensively on James Harden, because I don't think you want Buddy Hield on him, really, because you don't want Buddy Hield to use up all his stamina on defense. You want him to use it offensively because he's one of your best scorers, but it should be interesting to see. Plus, I like how Fareed has been playing for the Rockets as of late. I think the cover 3 points I think is pretty good, because I think the Kings are very capable of upsetting the Rockets, so I like the close spread. And then at the Spurs Warriors, not a close spread whatsoever. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN if you're interested in watching. I personally watch this on the ESPN mobile app, which is a beautiful source of watching it, because you can watch it anywhere you want. If you have unlimited data. Just boom, like if you're at work, on the bus, on the train, pop on the game if it's on ESPN. It's amazing. I usually actually watch First Take doing that. Yeah, this isn't sponsored, but I love watching First Take at work from the ESPN app. It makes it a lot easier. And then Warriors favored by 14.5 here. This game is very interesting as well because there's rumors KD's considering very likely leaving the Warriors. Not sure how true they are. And the Spurs, I think, have a lot of young talent, so they could be a surprise buyer at the trade deadline. We shall see. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.